Great day. Good to see you guys.
In this module, we'll look at responses for the most intensive misbehaviors, those that are the most disruptive and aggressive. While these behaviors are less frequent than milder behaviors, their intensity is often dangerous and may threaten either the physical safety of others or the driver's ability to complete their route safely. At some point in your career, there will likely be a student whose behaviors escalate to the point of outright defiance and aggression. In such cases, our concern is first and foremost with safety. Those who work directly with students with serious behavior disorders can tell you, when adults escalate, kids escalate. We have to be calm so that we can maintain control of the situation. As a school employee, the driver's role in the face of intensive student behavior is the same as teachers, administrators, or any other staff member. And that role will never be to overpower anyone or to attempt to force anyone to do anything. Rather, as the dignified professional, our role will always be to act as the peacemaker, to maintain safety, and to act in ways that maximize the potential for avoiding further escalation. Maintaining this professional demeanor under circumstances where students are purposefully rude, threatening, and disrespectful right to your face is definitely a challenge. But remember, the calming strategies presented in this module are not just for bus drivers. They are best practice for all school employees in all schools. In fact, in special schools and lockdown settings for the most intensive behaviorally challenged students, these strategies are trained and practiced by all adults because they simply represent our best chance of avoiding more unsafe conditions. A good thing to keep in mind as we consider these responses is that the consequences for these types of misbehaviors do not end at the time of the incident. If we can maintain sufficient safety to complete the bus route, these behaviors will be reported and handled by the school's discipline policy. Just because a student with intensive misbehaviors was politely talked down on the bus does not mean there will be no consequence. It's just that providing those consequences on the bus when the student is already escalating is not a good idea. Some of the general principles described in the previous module on responding to mild misbehaviors still apply. Remaining calm, speaking in a business-like manner, and addressing misbehavior in a series of steps still makes sense. However, the presence of behaviors that are dangerous or that violate another student's right to be safe from mental or physical discomfort effectively change the manner in which we respond, warranting a new set of response steps. While there's still a place for correction with every misbehavior, when confronted with dangerous or aggressive behavior, correction is not an effective first response. For example, if a student is hitting another student, it does not make sense to first provide correction by asking if hitting is okay. Rather, a professional driver would begin with an explicit redirection. Those behaviors that violate another's right to be free from discomfort are not always obvious, as bullies tend to be good at finding ways to harass their prey. Bullying is a problem that is both frequent and serious and warrants our continuous eye. While we don't have the right not to hear or be exposed to things we disagree with or find uncomfortable, we all have the right not to be aggressively harassed in a manner meant to cause discomfort. When any student is the recipient of any type of bullying, we must intervene immediately to stop it. Take a look at how this driver uses redirection as a first response to a case of bullying.
All right, good to see you. Good morning. All right, guys, have a seat, please. Hey, Jelani, please keep your hands to yourself and face the front.
Okay.
Jelani, I need to be able to see your eyes when I look in the mirror. If I can't see your eyes, you're not facing front.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go.
You'll note that the driver used a simple redirection and repeated it to be certain that the student understood. In many cases, it may be necessary to move one or more students, and assigning seats may help to alleviate this problem in the future. Still, these steps are effective only in stopping the bullying that is obvious. While this stopped the bullying, it should not be the end of the discussion. The driver should find a time to take the offending student aside and reiterate the expectations for respectful behavior, cautioning the student that he or she will be watched closely to ensure that it does not continue.
Good to see you. Welcome back. Right. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. All right. Hey, Jelani, come here for a second. Hey, man, listen, yesterday, I know he had that thing with Roderick on the bus and the hitting and touching and stuff. Do you remember that? Okay, that really wasn't respectful behavior, okay? I don't think he appreciated what you're doing.
I was just kidding with him.
I know you were, but today, I know you know what respectful behavior looks like, and so what I want to see you do today is when you sit down, not to do that, because you know exactly how to behave, because I know you can do it, and I think you can do it great today.
Okay.
All right, man. All right, come on in. All right, here we go. Have a seat, guys. Have a seat. We're about to leave.
As you can see, much of this starts with the things we talked about way back in Module 1. Respecting others is simply an expectation we make clear at the very beginning, so that discussions like this are connected back to what students have heard many times before. Remember again that the keys to these interactions are that 1, you approach this in a calm and professional manner, and 2, that you don't appear to be threatening or issuing an ultimatum. Simply restate the expectation and provide an explicit direction for the student to follow. In Module 4, we discussed student noncompliance, but we made the assumption that the driver's calm responses, correction, redirection, and the presentation of consequence as a choice were sufficient to see student success. But what if this doesn't work and the student becomes willfully non-compliant, or even what we might call defiant? Also, as discussed in Module 1, students need to be made aware of the consequences for misbehavior. If the driver has to come up with a consequence on his or her own, the student will, 1, see the driver as the heavy, and 2, will be more inclined to argue. We want the student to be aware of the consequence ahead of time, so that the driver is simply reminding the student of what's ahead if they don't change behavior, and lay that out as a choice for the student. Once the student is aware of the consequences for misbehavior and is presented with a choice, it is up to him or her to make that decision. Should they decide to continue with the misbehavior, we simply follow through with the consequence in a calm and business-like manner. It's often a good idea to express concern that the student's choice was not in their best interest. But we don't want to show any anger, frustration, or disgust.
Right. Good to see you. Good morning. Beautiful day outside. All right, have a seat, please, and we'll get going.
No, stop. I'm sorry. Stop. I'm leaving. Sorry. Right.
Hey, Jelani, please keep your hands to yourself and face the front.
Okay.
Jelani, hey, I need to be able to see your eyes when I look through the mirror. If I can't see your eyes, you're not facing front.
Mind your own business. I don't want you looking at me.
Jelani, I need to make sure everybody gets home safe, and I need you to look up front when I'm driving.
Everybody is safe. Let's go.
Jelani, I need you to move right here, please.
Whatever.
Jelani, I'm gonna give you a choice. I need you to move to the seat. If you do not, I'm gonna have to call security and they're gonna come get you. And if security has to get you, they're gonna suspend you. Now this is not worth that. So I need you to come and sit, please.
No way I'm saying there.
Bus 025 to security. I need you to come pick up a student, please.
Wait, I'll move.
Jelani, I appreciate that, but I already called. I gave you a choice. So we're just gonna stay here until they arrive.
Man, this is trash. Are we in trouble?
We'll just wait here until they get here. Everything will be fine.
Notice that the driver first gave the direction from the front of the bus, but as the problem progressed, the bus was stopped and the driver moved back to the student so that the issue could be dealt with in a safe manner. Here are a few other important things to note from this scenario. First, the driver provided a very clear direction to the student. Once it was clear that the student was going to be non-compliant, the driver became very calm and businesslike in addressing the student. Second, even as the student's behavior escalated to defiance and name-calling, the bus driver kept on message, simply repeating the direction without getting dragged into an argument with the student. Once the incident moved to the point of the student refusing to follow directions, the time for discussion has passed, and the driver continued to simply restate the direction. There will be ample time for a discussion on this later, but once a single explicit direction is given, student compliance is a necessity. In addition, the driver did not challenge the student. As a rule of thumb, the more upset the student becomes, the calmer we need to be. The driver spoke softly and directly to the student rather than across all the other students. When waiting for the assistance, the driver stood where all students were in sight, but did not make direct eye contact so as not to appear to be either challenging or one-upping the student. Finally, once the student has made the choice to take the consequence, there is no going back. The driver gave the student multiple opportunities to avoid the consequence, and the student rejected that choice. To take the consequence back, once delivered, would simply teach the student that the limits we set are ripe for negotiation. Before we look at another one, here's a summary of the key points we're looking for when students escalate their behavior. Remember that when we escalate, it causes students to escalate further. We want to be an example of calm professionalism. We don't present consequences, students choose them. Our job is to remind students of how their choices will affect them and let them make a decision. Correction begins with a rationale, but once a direction has been provided, there is no need for further discussion. There will be plenty of time for debriefing later, once the bus route is completed. Once a consequence has been delivered, it was earned by the student and cannot be taken back. If the student does comply after the consequence, a thank you or indication of appreciation is good, but the misbehavior cannot be undone. Let's watch another student whose behaviors are more intensely disruptive. See if you can spot how the driver employs each of the key strategies we just discussed.
Talk to me like, oh my gosh. You know, put your face like that, like it does not even matter anymore, and you still talking about it for what?
Ladies, what's wrong?
She keeps talking to me, so it's starting stuff with me. I'm not starting
How she starting stuff? How?
Oh my gosh, it doesn't even matter no more, right?
What doesn't matter?
Nobody's bringing up anything.
Okay, all right, pause. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Okay.
It don't matter anyway, because when we get off this bus, be prepared, because I'm going to beat you up.
No.
Right?
Oh, so
Nobody's
okay.
doing that.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Stop. This is what we do. You can stop.
It's a
All right,
promise.
get on the bus. Go ahead. You get on the bus.
Okay.
No, you can't get on the bus.
Why can't I get on
Because
the
you
bus?
just threatened her. I can't have you threatening.
Okay, whatever.
Come on.
It doesn't even matter, because I ain't even threatening her.
Yes, you are. Yes,
No,
you
I'm
did.
not.
Yes, you did.
What's going on?
She just threatened the student. Threatened
did
she was
not
gonna beat her
threaten
up. So since I thought she needed to speak with you about that.
Come on, we need to have a chat.
I have nothing.
This concludes our final module on managing behavior on the school bus. As we end here, take some time to discuss with others what parts of responding to escalating behavior you found to be most useful. As part of this discussion, think back to the scenario you just saw. Consider these key components of responding to students with escalating behaviors. Talk for a few minutes with people around you to discuss how the driver in this last scenario used each of these keys. Consider what parts of responding to intensive misbehaviors you found to be most relevant to you and your driving experience. Which of these strategies is most realistic for you, or how would you have to tweak it to make it work for you?